Hey everybody, welcome to our 3-day Fit 40 Express Challenge. I am Alan Galang, coach, head instructor, the guy who puts it all together with my fabulous athlete extraordinaire, the lady herself that started off at 49 years old, killing it here in the fitness field, where women left, right, and center are always saying to her, Helen, I want to look just like you. And that's exactly what we're here to do today. We're here to share with you exactly the things that she's done to get herself to where she is now, to where she wanted to be. We're going to teach you how to overcome certain struggles, challenges. We're going to teach you the floor plan on how she trains so you can use it for yourself as well. And we even got some extra goodies in here on how to get you to that next level a little faster, the same way that we've done for Helen all these years. And take it from us. Remember, she started at 49 years old, 49 years old. With no previous experience, no previous background in fitness and training, did a little tennis, did a little swimming, did a little bit of running. But those things, as great as they are, did not give her the results that you see before you today and all over the internet with all her videos and photos of her amazing wins in those bikini competitions. So I was here to open. I'm going to take off for a little bit. Miss Helen's going to start off to lead the show. And you got something really fun in store for the people, for the ladies over here today, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Thank you, Coach Ellen.
Absolutely.
I'm here because of you. I have to give you lots of credit for believing in me. I have to. When I didn't really believe in myself.
100%.
No, it was possible. So thank you.
You're very welcome. When you see potential in someone, you go get it. And I definitely saw that potential in Miss Fong.
I think you just have that gift in you.
It is a gift.
Believing in others is a gift. So I believe this lady here.
Absolutely.
Do have the gift.
Absolutely. That's why they're here, right? Whether you're here live or recorded, you are here to learn to help yourself become better physically, mentally, emotionally. This is the woman who's going to teach you how. Ready to take over?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to scoot out. I'll see you back in a bit. Have fun with Helen Fong. Take it away, Miss Fong.
Be recorded. Okay.
She just wanted to know if we're recording. Yes, we are recording. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Coach Allen. I am going to show you a couple of videos, actually 3 videos about body type, how your body responds to food and training. Okay, let me just bring it out. Be patient with me here, right here. Let me see here. Okay, no, did not go very much. Share. There we go. Here, let's start from here. So in this video, it describes what the 3 body types are: ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorphs, and what they look like. All right, so here we go. The terms ectomorph, endomorph, sorry about that, and mesomorph are often used to describe different body types. Okay. Yes, while these classifications had been criticized for oversimplifying the complexity of human bodies, they can still provide some general insights into how individuals may respond to exercise and nutrition. You can tell we come from different sides. Okay. There you go. There's Coach Allen. Look at what he used to look like and what happened after he provide different nutrition and workout plan to the body, from this to this. Okay, it's important to know that these classifications are not definite, and many people may not fit neatly into one categories. What does that mean? You can be in one body type, and after a period of time, a period of transformation, your body can actually be another type. But here, he's more a mesomorph than an endomorph. All right. Here, both me and my trainee are ectomorphs. I'm an ectomorph, which we do have a leaner and slender body, and we do have a fast metabolism, which means we lose muscle fast. We also hard time gaining muscle. And so here, we tend to have difficulties in gaining weight, including both muscles and fat. So ectomorphs may have a harder time building muscle mass and may need to consume more calories to support muscle growth. So if you're an ectomorph like me, with a smaller and slender build, your goal is to build more muscles. And when you have to build muscles, there's a need to have more calories, right, to get that muscle look. So basically, you might need to have more calories per day than someone who's an endomorph. All right, so the endomorphs have a different purpose when it comes to transforming their body. Yes, we have challenges, but we also have advantages. Right, ectomorphs have fast metabolism. They also allow us to stay relatively lean even when we eat quite a bit of food. That's an advantage because our body burn them off fast. And then this time, endomorphs. Endomorphs are often described as having a larger body frame with more body fat and a slower metabolism. What does that mean when we have a slower metabolism? It means they don't burn off the calories as fast as ectomorph. So they do have to lower their calorie intake to maintain that leaner body and lower body fat. Endomorphs tend to gain both muscles and fat more easily, but losing body fat can be a challenge. See, every body type has advantage and disadvantage. So no matter what you have, be happy with it and figure a way. But here, like today, we sharing with you what to eat, what to exercise to have that ideal, amazing lean figure. All right. So as you can tell, even endomorphs have advantage. They can gain muscles fast, which is good compared to ectomorph have hard time gaining muscle. So the thing that endomorphs have to do is just pay closer to the type of food that they eat instead of eating, for example, calories that come from less dense food, right? So maybe perhaps choose calorie food that have nutrients from healthier food because it's harder to digest. So normally vegetable that comes includes meat, fiber that takes longer to digest because endomorph is the goal is to lose body fat. And in order to do that, the calorie intake has to be lower. But in order to stay function throughout the day, you need to have some kind of food in your tummy. So majority of the time, nutrients from vegetable, more whole food would make endomorphs feel better throughout the day. Because why? Because those type of food last longer in the body versus simple carbohydrate. They may also benefit from incorporating regular cardiovascular exercise to help manage body fat. So endomorph again can benefit a lot from cardiovascular exercise versus ectomorph. Ectomorph need to do a lot of resistant exercise to build muscles. So if you like cardiovascular exercise, this is perfect for you as an endomorph. Because you see, as an ectomorph, someone who need to build more muscles, cardiovascular exercise might deplete the muscles they gain. So this is very important when to apply cardiovascular exercise and resistant exercise. This is a mesomorph, next one. This type of body type is someone who has higher muscle mass. Mesomorph separates from both to strength training and cardiovascular exercise, and they can often achieve or maintain a lean muscular physique more easily than ectomorphs or endomorphs. However, individual differences still exist, and nutrition and exercise should be tailored to personal goals and preferences. When it comes to building lean muscles and losing body fat, nutrition plays a vital role for individuals of all body type. So it doesn't matter what body type you have. Focusing on nutrition is crucial. I'm just going to show you some general consideration when it comes to nutrition. For muscle growth, regardless of body type, consumers like slightly more calories is required, right? To build muscles, you must eat. Why? Is because it provides the necessary energy and nutrients for muscle growth and repair. Of course, too much is not good as well. All right. So there's a need to have more, but not too much that you gain extra fat. And that is not the goal. Your goal is to lower the body fat and maintain muscles. So macro balance. A balance of intake of protein, carbohydrates, and healthy fat is crucial. So you need to have a balance of all these macros. Protein is essential for muscle repair and growth, and is recommended to consume an adequate amount of 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. To build muscles, protein is essential. So what it means is if your goal is to build muscles, so make sure your diet includes protein. You see, now I notice in the past, I was eating healthy, but majority of my own diet came from carbohydrate. So right now, if my goal is to build muscles, I must include the essential amount of protein for my body. So same as you, if you're an ectomorph, and doesn't matter ectomorph, endomorph, and mesomorph, if your goal is to build muscle, to maintain the muscles, minimum 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound, all right, throughout the day. Not all at once, because your body cannot absorb all the protein in one setting. And of course, carbohydrate is needed as well. Carbohydrate provides energy for workout, while fats support hormone production and overall health. So make sure that in your diet, you need to have carb, you need to have protein and fat. Carbohydrate gives you the energy to work out. Okay, you need energy for daily function, for anything that that keeps you alive. Okay, and fats, of course, support hormone production. So you need to have all three. Doesn't matter which body type you are in. Not just the type of nutrients, but the timing of nutrient is also important in building lean muscles and lowering body fat. Consuming protein and carbohydrate before and after workout can help optimize muscle recovery and replenish glycogen stores. So depending on your body type, and you must know the timing, when to eat the the food, when and before, after. Very crucial. For example, for me, when my goal is to build muscles, so I must have protein right after, like within 30 minutes after my workout. And for myself, I also need to have some energy from carbohydrate to go to the gym, or else I will lose muscle during my workout. And I will also feel really, really exhausted. So the goal is to have fun. And so knowing the timing of the nutrient is important and give you that feeling of that you are actually not dreading your body to the gym. Instead, have fun and stay fully energized and still at the same time build the body that you want. And additionally, spreading meals evenly throughout the day can support consistent energy levels and muscle protein synthesis. So what does that mean? Meaning, some people like to have one meal a day. That's fine if you can tolerate it. But the thing is, if you can't tolerate only one meal a day, I mean, like if you don't have any energy, you won't function. You won't be able to go to the gym. So spreading meals throughout the day give you the energy you need. Imagine you only have one meal. Where are you going to find energy in the morning if you have the meal not until later on in the evening? You need energy. You need energy to go to the gym to work out. You need to push if your goal is to build muscles. Even cardio exercise require energy. Okay, so it's good to have meal throughout the day, but of course within your calorie intake. And to stay having that lean looking body, for example, lean muscle building and lower body fat, hydration is very important. Water is needed in that process in building muscles, okay, and in the fat burning process. So imagine the body try to use fat as energy. It's hard to take the fat out without adequate water. Your water is needed for transfer of nutrients from fat cells to energy. So make sure that you stay hydrated, okay? Not just that, water supports various bodily functions, including nutrient absorptions, muscle functions, and temperature regulation. Okay, remember these are just general guidelines, and individual differences to references and goals should always be considered. And consulting with a registered dietitian or qualified nutrition professional can provide personalized recommendation based on your specific needs. There we go. Thank you. Stop sharing. So you have an idea. What each of this body type is like, and understand the macros that your body needs according to your body type. All right. So I am going to show you another video of how much your body needs carbohydrate. Your body needs protein, but how much does your body need? Okay, let me see 1 second. Sorry about that. No. Sorry about that. Share. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's start over. Okay, now that's Coach Ellen. When it comes to building muscles and losing fat simultaneously, the ratio of macros, which are protein, carb, and fat, can vary depending on your body type and your goal. However, here are some just general guidelines for the 3 body types: ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph. All right. So now you probably have an idea which body type you are. If you're an ectomorph, you're usually, again, you have a leaner and slender body type with difficulty gaining muscle and fat. Or if you're an ectomorph and want to build muscles while losing body fat, a balanced ratio of macro can be something like this. Right here. So for protein, you need 30 to 35% of protein of your total daily calorie intake. So if your total calorie is 2,000, you need 30 to 35% of that calories come from protein, right? And of course, you need carb as well. So out of that 2,000 calories, 40% of those calories to 50% should come from carbohydrate, because an ectomorph needs to spend a lot of time in the gym building muscles. So a lot of carbs give you that energy. You also need fat intake, but the fat intake is only 20 to 30% of your total daily calorie intake of that 2,000, just for example, all right? Just remember, keep in mind that protein is crucial for muscle repair and growth, while carbohydrate provides energy for workout and daily activities. You probably already saw that from the first video, that protein is for muscle repair and growth, and carbohydrate gives you the energy for workouts and daily activities. And that's for all types of body types. And again, this will repeat again, healthy fat for hormone productions. Okay, here, mesomorphs. Mesomorphs are naturally more muscular and have a moderate body type. And for muscle building and fat loss, let's take a look right here. For mesomorph, someone who's pretty athletic build already, their protein intake per day is 30 to 40% of the total daily calorie intake. Carbohydrate as well, 30 to 40% daily calorie. Fat, it's only 20 to 30% of daily calorie intake. So mesomorphs are generally have a balanced metabolism. So this ratio can really provide just an adequate protein for muscle growth and sufficient carbohydrate for energy. The last type are the endomorphs. Endomorphs, as you can see here, tend to have a higher body fat percentage and a more round body type. It doesn't mean you cannot look lean. Yes, you can. It just now you need to focus on the type of food for your body. To build muscles and lose fat, the following macros is here for endomorphs. Let's take a look. We need to have protein as well, 25 to 35% of total daily calorie intake. Okay, only 25 to 35%, a little bit less compared to the other two body type. Carbohydrate is also needed because we all need to have energy to work out. So, but less in here. Why? Is because the goal is for endomorphs to really lose some body fat. So lower the calories, maybe perhaps a lot lower than the endomorph. I mean ectomorph. Ectomorph is supposed to build muscle, so they need to have more calories or carbohydrates for endomorph. Endomorph, the goal because they have extra body fat, so they must have less calories, and they need to take in more than they expend in order to lose the body fat they have for the body type. So carbohydrate here is a little bit less compared to the other two body type. So what does that mean? It means when they're working out and when their body needs energy, the body will use body fat as energy for the endomorph because they have excess body fat that they need to get rid of. And again, here they need a little bit more fat, 30 to 40% of the total daily calorie intake. So fat will make them feel fuller, but they still need it for their body type. So, but it's just the carbohydrate is lower. Okay. You probably know that, recognize some of your friends who are on keto diet. That means their diet is high in fat, but low in carbohydrate. So endomorph tend to have that sort of that type of meal. Okay. Because endomorphs have a slower metabolism and can be more sensitive to carbohydrate. So having a smaller amount of carb intake is crucial to have that lean muscles with that lower body fat overall. Okay, again, these ratios are general guidelines and may need to be adjusted based on your personal preferences, activities, and your individual responses, right? So if you work out more, you might have to increase your protein. If you want bigger muscle, right? If you want bigger muscle, you might increase your ratios in terms of macros. Okay. Okay, there you go. Okay. Close. Okay. And the last video I'm going to show you is how your body type responds to the two exercise. Why is this important? Because ladies I know, they work out and almost every day they walk 3 hours or 4 hours, they go swimming, but they still don't like the body. They still are not getting the definitions. Okay, so this is probably what you wanted to watch and get an idea what is cardio exercise and resistant exercise. How do these two exercise help you lower body fat and build muscles? It's right here. One sec. Mhm. One sec. Okay. Share. Okay, there you go. Let's say started. Here we go. Okay. What is the definition of cardio training, resistance training, and why both of these are important to do during our body transformation to increase lean muscles while lowering body fat, right? So this is what this video is about. Hi, cardio training here. So cardio training is also known as aerobic exercise. It involves activities that increase your heartbeat and breathing rate, such as running, cycling, or swimming. You see, many people might be thinking that if I exercise, if I run, if I cycle or swim, I should be have that strong glutes like I want my glutes to be lifted. Well, yes, to some level, but if you really want to build muscles in certain area, resistant exercise might come into play. Okay, cardio exercise has advantage and disadvantage, and not everybody can benefit from cardio. So you must know the type of body you have, and also the goal that you want. Okay, the goal of cardio training is to improve your cardiovascular health and endurance by strengthening your heart and lungs. Cardio exercise is great. Even if you are an ectomorph, mesomorph, and endomorph, both of this type of training come at different time. For example, for me as an ectomorph, if I already have the muscles I want, but if I eat too much, my body might accumulate some fat. And in this case, I would do cardio just to reduce the body fat and then maintain my body muscles, my muscles, right? So anybody benefit from both of these types of training. You have to figure out when to use them, at what point, okay? Resistant training, known as strength training or weight training, involves activity that's use resistance, such as weights, bands, or body weight, to build and strengthen your muscles. Only through resistant training that your muscles can grow, can change to the level that you want. And most of the time, resistant training really target a specific areas in your body. Yeah, some of those resistant training can be target a few parts of the body. The majority of the resistant trainings are used for targeting certain parts in your body. For myself, for me, specifically my glutes. Right, running, yes, help me burn some calories, but running itself will not make my glutes firmer or lift, but resistant training will. or does. Right. So here the goal with resistance training is to increase muscle strength, size, and tone. Again, both cardio training and resistance training are important during the body transformation to increase lean muscle while lowering body fat. Cardio training helps to burn calories and reduce body fat, while resistance training helps to build and maintain muscle mass. So if your goal is to build muscles, simultaneously lower body fat, you might need both. It doesn't matter what body type you have. So by combining these two types of training, you can get that leaner and more toned physique. Cardio training is effective for burning calories during and after the workout, which can help you to create a calorie deficit and lose body fat. So if your goal is to lose body fat, for example, and do more, the goal is to lose body fat, they might do more cardio than resistance training. Resistance training, on the other hand, helps to build and maintain muscle mass, which increase your metabolism and helps you to burn more calorie at rest. This is what we call often passive, passive burning power, meaning when you build muscle, strongly looking muscles, your body automatically burns more, uses more energy in your body. And what does that mean? You mean your body is already in like, is the activity inside your body is high metabolism. That's what I mean when you're more muscle. Just imagine nutrients, oxygen, water have to travel through muscles. What does that mean? Versus water, oxygen travel through fat. Fats are soft, right? So it takes less energy for the nutrients to travel through the fat versus the muscle. So every time your body brings in nutrients or oxygen to the rest of the cells, it requires some kind of energy. So if your body has more muscle, what does that mean? It needs more energy for the oxygen to get through to the muscles. Right? So that means increase the metabolism. Increase means using more energy to function inside your body. And what does that mean? When more energies are used, that means less are stored in your body as fat. You see, energies are not created in your body. The energies are transferred. What does that mean? Energy you get from food. What happens when you don't get enough energy from food? Your body will start using body fat as energy. So that's what it means, transfer. Okay, so resistance training that has that magic power. So by combining cardio and resistance training, you can create a balanced exercise program that helps you to achieve your body transformation goal. All right. So both are needed, both kind of training are needed depending on your goal and depending on your body type. So, but most people either do too much of one or too much of the other. Now you know the purpose of both. There we go. Stop sharing. So this concludes my part of the presentation. Thank you very much. And I will have Coach Alan come and share his expertise. Thank you again.
Good job, Ms. Fong. Excellent work. Excellent work. Isn't that cool? Here's a lady over here who just a handful of years ago was just happy to stay at home. Happy to stay at home and just take care of her kids, take care of her family. And one day said, hey, you know what? I am meant for more. I'm meant to do more. I'm meant to become more. I'm meant to grow more. And lo and behold, here she is just a handful of years later, running these Zoom calls, helping ladies like you, help you get from where you are to where you want to be in the same or similar way that she did, overcoming problems and challenges, overcoming the hurdles of just being unsure if she could really pull it off. I mean, I'm sure you probably feel that way too at some time, right? I know that she has, I have, we all go through that. And it's just wonderful to see that someone like Helen has managed to get to the stage where she's not only taking care of herself, but she's also creating space to support brand new upcoming future champions like yourself, whether you're planning to get up on stage or you're just doing this because you want to feel really good in your own skin and clothes. Helen's become a major supporter for females just like yourself that really want to take your fitness, your body, your physique, your personal confidence, your abilities, all of that to a whole new level. And that's why I've taken over this section, because a lot of people will look at her and say, hey, you know what? Maybe she was lucky. Maybe she just pulled it off some way, somehow. I mean, how does a lady who is 49 years old, who was surrounded by people that originally said, hey, you know, I don't know if you can do it. You know, she heard that on so many occasions. I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if at 49, you can reverse age yourself to look that good standing next to women athletes who are half your age. I mean, that was the struggle that you went through back then, right?
I didn't want to settle, and I knew that settling wasn't where I want to be in my happy place. So because I didn't want to settle, and I keep searching and found you.
Exactly. She didn't stop searching. She kept looking for a way. She found me, and here we are. Fast forward 5 years later, still working together, still doing amazing things. And that's the part of the story that maybe you aren't aware of, which is to answer the question, like, how do you do that? How do you develop the strength, the muscle, the mindset, the belief system that really takes you from where you are to pulling you towards your dreams, your goals, your desires? How do you make that work when maybe like yourself, maybe like her, when there was no back history, when there was no past experience of succeeding at such a high level? And you got to admit, that's a high level for someone who is twice the average age of those females on stage, to be able to stand next to them and have the judges look at her and say, hey, you know, it's almost hard to tell that these women, that this lady over here is in her 50s while she's standing next to these other ladies in their 30s and their 20s. You know, everyone looks at Helen for the physical results. And that's the beauty of this next part that I'm going to share with you, is before we created the physical reality, we had to first create the mental reality. We had to make that real inside her mind. Now, I'm telling you right now, from personal experience, you probably know this already. I know Helen does. I have on so many occasions, that if we don't get the mind right, if we don't get it to that place of moving up a few levels, then it becomes very much like I'll try it. Oh, it didn't work. Oh, I'll go after it. Oh, I can't. Oh, that's my dream, but this thing got in the way and I can't have it. It's only when the mindset elevates to that position of I must have it. That is me. I'm just not living it yet, but I'm going after it. When the person going after the goal becomes so hungry for it that nothing gets in their way, not time, not effort, not money, not anything, then they become that kind of person who nothing can stop them. no matter what the obstacle, no matter what the challenge. And I got to tell you, Helen went through a lot, and I mean a lot of challenges. And that's why she's standing here before you today, because she's not just a woman who's been able to achieve the physical body goal. She's a woman who's learned how to overcome the struggles in her mind first. So when she actually had to go through the problems, struggles in reality, it was, was it painful? Sure. Was it shocking sometimes? Yeah. Was it hard sometimes? For sure. Were there times that she wanted to quit? Absolutely. But because this stayed so strong, because the goal was clear, because it was so clear to her as to what she'd miss out on if she didn't get that goal, every single time there was an opportunity to quit, she got right back up. Every time there was frustration, there was a reason for her to get back on the saddle again, per se, and to keep going after that goal. So we are going to teach you the level of mental and emotional drive that Helen learned to produce inside of herself, with my help, of course. And that's why we're here to share it with you today.
You investing your time here. I invest up first with you, and look where I got here. I mean, look at where I am right now. So I believe it's possible when you invest in yourself. You took in time to be here. Very powerful already.
Right, 100%. And that's what we're going to share with you today on how to invest in yourself, both physically, emotionally, and mentally. Okay.
Thank you, Coach Allen.
Absolutely. Now, before we get this set, I'm going to move this. So we've got a big whiteboard up there. I'm going to move that camera. I'm going to look at that. Perfect height. Perfectly wonderful height. Okay. Now, please make sure that that camera's on me as well, just so we have a copy of me talking and not a copy of just my chest.
That's okay too.
Oh, that's okay too. Wonderful. We're going to edit that out, please. All right, folks. So here we go. So we're talking about how to make that transformational change. And before we do, I'm just going to pause real quick to make sure that my camera has me in the frame. Okay. So here's the thing that you want to know about when it comes to making change, and this is vital, this is important. Before the physical starts to happen, the mental and the emotional has to be there already. And I'm sure you've heard of it on so many different occasions, right? You've heard of different speakers talk about it all the time. You got to know your why. They talk about that. You got to know what are your reasons for doing it. Those are really important. At the same time, we learned that there's two major factors when it comes to people making change. And those two major factors usually are what we call moving towards or moving away. They're usually a positive reason or they're usually a negative reason. And being that this is a one-way conversation, I don't know which way works best for you. But I do know that when you learn to activate both sides of the mind, when you learn to go after what you want and what you want to avoid, when you're very clear on those two things, then all of a sudden the game changes and your ability to go after what you want increases tenfold. And the problems that get in your way start to shrink. So let's talk about that a little bit today, okay? Instead of me just drawing out a bunch of circles and sticks, which I normally do, let me talk to you and draw based on Helen's example, because maybe you can relate to this, all right? So let me draw out this line, and this line is going to represent time. Okay. Now, in this line that we call time, that represents time, let's just pretend that this is where Helen made the decision that I'm going to go after what I want. And let's go back. Let's pretend that this is going back in time. And you can relate to this too, okay? So this is not just about Helen. This is about you as well. I want you to imagine for a second what that thought process of time might look like. When you think about time, when you think about like, well, what are those things that you're going after? What are those goals? Think about that time when you first started, when you first made that decision. I can tell you from personal experience that back in 2018, when I asked Helen to consider the idea of going on stage, of becoming a bikini fitness competitor, the first thing that she ever said to me was, no, no way, I'm not doing it. I don't think I can. I'm too old. She actually said that. I'm too old. I'm not in shape. I'm not good enough to do this. I've never done it before. I mean, I could go through the list. I remember at least 5 or 6 of those, but there was a hell of a lot more than that. Now, before I move on, can you relate to that? Can you relate to the idea of going after something big? And then you may be saying to yourself, no, I can't do it. I've never done it before. It's too much work. It's too hard. Whatever the reason is, it's something we've all gone through, right? Now, moving on, when I asked Helen, I asked her in 2018, it was around the summertime. I asked her one time, I said, hey, have you ever thought about doing something like going after a goal? Because if you just get fit, that's a great goal. But if there's nothing to attach the fitness to, if there's no reason, if there's no why, if there's no, I must have this because, then in a lot of cases, what ends up happening is the person just ends up going after the goal. But when they don't really know why they're going after the goal, it's like, yeah, they might do it, they might not. They might consider it, they might not. It becomes very up and down. You know, it's very I'll get it, I don't get it, I want it, I don't want it. It's not a solidified reason to go after it. There's not a lot of consistency in chasing that dream, right? So that's exactly what happened to her. 2018, I said, hey, do you want to do it? No. Next month, hey, I know that you want to get more fit and I know it's hard for you. Have you ever thought about doing something a little bit outside your comfort zone? No. And I asked her again, no, asked her again, no, asked her again. This was 2018 all the way until February 4th, 2019. And I'll never forget that date because that date was my birthday. So think about that. All these months, she said, no, 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 until one day on my birthday, she comes into the gym. She looks at me and she says, Alan, I'm ready. You're ready for what? She said, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to go after that. Well, go after what, Helen? What are you talking about? Well, the goal. You're talking about me going after like becoming a fitness competitor. I want to do it. Now, I got to tell you, when that happened to me, when she said that to me, there was already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months roughly. There was 8 months of consistent, maybe more like 6. I might be exaggerating here, but it was 6 to 8 months of a consistent no. Absolutely not. So you might be asking yourself, and of course, again, this does relate to you. You watching, yes, you right here, right now, as you're watching this part of my section. How did she go from saying no, 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 to one day just coming up and saying, okay, what? It wasn't even just a yes. It was not even just a yes. It was a we must do it. Now think about that language for a second. When someone says, yeah, I'll try, or someone says, hey, I'll give it a shot, that's a very different mindset from somebody else who says, I must do it. You might want to ask yourself, and you probably are, well, what shifted in Helen? What made her decide to say, I must do it after so many months of saying, no, I can't, I will not, it's not for me, it's not who I am. What are my friends going to think? What is my family going to think? You know, my husband, what my kids, oh my God, when my kids see me into like, I don't think so, you know, discomfort, which was natural. Nobody could blame her. There wasn't even anything to blame. It was such a, you know, far left, like out of reach kind of looking goal. But why? Why did she make that shift? Now, here's what's the important part, and this is why I'm sharing it with you today, because I'm sure at some level this relates to you as it does to all of us as well. We all go through this. When Helen came up to me, she said to me, I have to do this. I have to do this. I want to do this. Like, I'm determined to do this. And the reason, here's the interesting part. She said for months, what was happening is that the people around her, I'm not going to say who, because we're not here to, demoralize or put anyone down. It's everyone has a different reality. We all have different expectations, and it's just part of life, right? Honestly, I believe people were just trying to watch out for her as best they could, but sometimes it comes off a little bit maybe less supportive than what we want. And what Helen was saying to me was that people around her were saying to her exactly those things I just said to you now. You're too old, Helen. You can't do it. Why would you want to go after something like that now? You're almost 50. There's no way you could look as young as this other woman. And Helen was referring, I'll never forget the story because the look on her face it changed everything. She was referring to this female she saw in a magazine that was wearing these little shorts and a little top. And she just thought that the woman's big physique looked really attractive. And Helen said, I would love to look like this one day. And the person she was standing next to said, there's just no way. She's half your age. Look how young she is. And look how old you are right now. It's too late. There's no way. Well, as you get to know Helen, or if you know anything about her, one of the biggest drivers about Helen is when someone looks at her and says, you can't do this. Her brain is wired up to not take that on as a belief, but to take that on as a challenge. Now, did I know this beforehand, before all this? No. Did I realize this? No. But I started to pick up on those things because every now and then when I would ask her to do something, it would usually be either, okay, I'll try maybe, or be like, no, there's just no way. Now, I've talked about her this whole time for about, past 20 minutes. Let me turn this conversation around and add it to you. What, for you watching this webinar seminar right now, what exactly is your driver? What's the thing that drives you? Now, you might be watching me right now and saying, well, Alan, I don't know. Like, I'm just here to what? I'm just here to learn how to get fit, how to tone my arms and make my butt look nice and, tone up my midsection and look like Helen. Yeah, I get that. But in order for you to get from where you are to where you want to be, if you've never had those kind of goals before, if you've never been able to achieve that before, remember, it's going to take another level of thinking that usually starts off with a little bit of discomfort. But once that realization kicks in, it's like, oh, I realize that this is why I want it. The discomfort goes down, the drive goes up, and all of a sudden you become that kind of person that's not climbing the ladder to get to the goal, but the goal is here and it's like a magnet. It's just pulling you. With difficulty, still with challenge, but the challenges don't become mountains, they become anthills. That's what the famous Tony Robbins used to say so many years ago. And that's what I'm helping you discover for yourself today. So, number one, I'm going to ask you to, if you're here now, then just take 30 seconds and just pull out a piece of paper, pull out a pen. Make sure you're in a safe place though. If you're driving, please don't do that, okay? If you're riding a bike, if you're somewhere where you have to pay attention, of course, don't pull out anything. Pay attention to your surroundings. But if you're at home, if you're at the office, if you're at a coffee shop, if you're in bed and you're just watching a recording, take out something where you can write down, jot it down, and ask yourself, what in the past, and I say past because this is a new goal for you, what in the past is something that's driven you to go after it when originally you didn't think you could? When originally you didn't think you could. Now, that might take more than 30 seconds. And if this is the recording right now, go ahead and pause this. Pause this a little bit longer for at least 30 seconds to a minute. Not too long because life gets busy. Something might take your attention. But take that 30 seconds to a minute. Ask yourself. Some examples for us would be, even for myself, when I was heavily overweight and my stomach was up to here and I could not look down and see my own toes, the driver for me at that time was, hey, I just broke up. I'm emotionally in pain. I'm going through being single all over again. This is like over a decade ago. long time ago. And all I knew was that I didn't want to physically feel like I was in a rut. And getting to the gym, lifting weights, doing my cardio, just getting into that routine, I noticed no matter how crappy I felt going into my fitness session, I always felt phenomenal coming out. I got addicted to that feeling. And that was the driver for me. I simply didn't want to feel down about myself anymore. One of our other clients, she is just going through, I won't say names out of respect, but I'll share her story real quick because maybe you can relate or you know someone who has. She is in the process of completing a divorce. And looking at her, she's realizing now that she wants to get back out there. She wants to eventually get back out there into single world, meet new people, and potentially meet somebody that's a better fit for her. But she realizes that while being in the marriage, she feels like she let herself go a little bit. And she had said that that affects her confidence. It affects the way that she interacts with other people that potentially she can be attracted to. So now she literally spends 5 to 6 days a week doing something in fitness, lifting weights, going to a gym, going to a cardio class, a yoga session, something, because she is clear in her mind that before she steps back out into the single world, the market, whatever you want to call it, she wants to look and feel her best within that time frame of what she gave herself, about 3 to 4 months, 5 months tops. It's ballpark, of course. But she's clear. She's clear that right now she feels okay, but she wants to feel great. And to her, she's attached the emotional connection of looking physically great, of looking great in her clothes, of looking and feeling her best at this time in her life. So when she goes out there and presents herself to the world, to all the other single men out there that she wants to go and attract and meet into her life, that she doesn't feel like she's not her best, that she doesn't feel like she's uncomfortable in her own skin. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like when you put on clothes and you look in the mirror and you're like, this used to look so good on me. Now it doesn't look so good. I mean, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to be real. That's something that we have all gone through at some point in our life, right? So again, I'm talking about one of our clients, I'm talking about Helen. Let me go back to you. What is either the positive or the negative driver that even got you to even take the time to watch this webinar, seminar, this Zoom meeting on how to get fit, how to look like Helen Fong, how to become your own version of your toned, your fit 40 self? What is that? Now, once you've got that down, I want you to ask yourself the next question. Is it more of a positive or is it more of a negative response? Well, what do you mean, Alan? What do you mean? And why is this important? It's important. Well, let me take a step back. What I mean is every time we use language, we're actually programming our subconscious mind. I'm not going to get too deep into this. We're actually programming our mind to start developing a habit. And that habit could be a good habit, or sometimes by accident, it becomes a negative habit. So an example of one of our other clients said, I just don't want to look this way anymore. I just don't want, the reason why I'm here, Alan and Helen, is because I don't want to look and feel this way anymore. Now think about that language. What does that actually tell us? All that tells us is that this individual is not comfortable with the physical image that they see of themselves when they look in the mirror. And they just don't want that anymore. Well, that's good because there's a driver in there, and the driver is I'm uncomfortable, right? But there's a challenge. And this is what separated Helen Fong from her ability to go after a goal versus other people that have tried and then just quit, tried and then failed, or what they call failed when really they just quit. Or tried and they looked at everything like it was just so hard to go after this because they saw the problems as mountains because they weren't clear on the end goal. Here's the difference. The reason why this is so important is because when Helen made that decision to go after that dream of stepping on stage, She programmed her own mind, and call it programming if you like. She was able to make it clear in her own mind that that is the end result. That is what I must have. And so what happens is when the brain goes, hey, you know what? This is the thing. This is it. All other possible options get wiped off the table. Or maybe they don't get wiped, but if this is the ultimate goal that's up here, if that's clear in the mind, then what happens is that other lesser goals, what we might call lesser goals, appear. Then if the mind is clear, this is what it wants, it won't settle for these. It won't settle for these. Especially if this end goal is something that moves you so emotionally, the way it did for Helen, the way it did for me, that everything else just becomes secondary. Now, why is this important to you? It's important because if you don't know what that is, guess what? You'll do what 80, 90% of people do in the first time that they try to make a transformational change for themselves. They'll settle. Now, what does settling look like? What does that mean? It means this. I want to have, for example, we'll take Helen again. I want to have that amazing bikini, young looking, fit, on stage body. So whether I'm on stage or I'm at home or I'm at the beach or I'm wearing a one-piece, two-piece, or I'm wearing my favorite dress for an evening out with my husband or with my family, I know I look and I feel phenomenal. Because if I can look good on stage, I can look good anywhere. She was clear on that. If she wasn't clear on that, she might have said something like, oh, well, my pants fit now, so that's good enough. Okay. Oh, that dress I used to put on, it's still snug. I can slip into it, but at least now I can put it on. Okay. Now, is that a bad goal? No, of course not. It's better than staying down here, right? It's way better than staying down here. But what's the problem? The problem is that if there's no clarity on the end result, a lot of people will settle for the first or second win. They'll hang out there for a second or for a little bit, and then their brain goes, oh my goodness, I worked so hard for this. Like, this is it. This is all I get. And guess what happens? They hang out here for a little bit, and then the brain goes, oh, this is too hard to maintain. And it just goes right back to where it started, or some version. This is why in the fitness industry, you hear things that are called, for example, the yo-yo diet. You know why they call it the yo-yo diet? Because it works and it doesn't, then it works and it doesn't, it works and it doesn't. It's not that the diet's yo-yo, it's the goal is yo-yo. It's not the diet. All diets work when applied properly. All systems of training work when applied properly. But what is proper? It's when the brain is super clear of what it wants and why it wants it. Now, I know you might be thinking, oh my goodness, Alan, you're driving this idea home so hard. You've been on for about 20 minutes now, 25 minutes. Yeah, I have. Because you know what the opposite is? And we've seen this. Helen and I have seen this. We've worked with people like this. Unfortunately, in our hearts, it breaks for them because we care about the people that we help. We care about you. We've never met you, most likely. Maybe we have. But if you're here spending the time with us, I tell you, there's a part of us that cares about you. Because this kind of stuff transformed our lives. And we're here to make differences in people's lives. That's why we want to share this with you. We don't want this to happen to you. When someone's going through a yo-yo diet, it's simply because they weren't clear on what they wanted. Without clarity, there is no goal that gets accomplished. Let me say that one more time. Without clarity, there is no goal that gets fully accomplished. You might get partial goals. You might get your goal for a little while. It might sound like I'm preaching over here. I was one of those guys. I was lean in my teens, got really heavy in my early 20s, got lean in my early 20s, got really heavy in my late 20s, got lean when I was 30. I got kind of pretty damn heavy when I was 35. And it's only been in the past 10 years, minus the pandemic, I gained some weight then, but only in the past 10 years where I've been able to sustain a certain level of fitness because my brain got really clear on why it wanted it. So again, going back to the original statement, what is your driver? Mark that down. Ask yourself, is it a positive driver, like something you're going towards, or is it a negative driver? Something that you're trying to stay away from. I just don't want to look like that. I just don't want to feel like this anymore. I just don't want to look that horrible in my clothes anymore. That's a negative driver. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No, that's good. Keep it. Like if that's what you wrote on your sheet, keep that on your sheet or on wherever it is that you're typing. Because now you got to add the next part. You got to ask yourself, if it's a negative, okay, let me do these one piece at a time. If it's a negative driver, all you got to do is write down for yourself. If it's negative, then what's the good that you get out of that? So an example is, okay, I don't want to look like this in my dress anymore. Some ladies say that to us. So we'll usually ask, okay, if you don't want to look like this, what do you want to look like? How do you want to make yourself look in your dress? And usually the same answer comes up, like, I don't know. It's usually like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I just don't want to look like this anymore. And the list goes on. If you're going through that, cool. It's part of the process. Keep going though, or else you might quit, okay? So if you're over here and you're like, well, I don't know, I just don't want to look like this. Fine, write it down. If you have 5 or 10 of those responses of, I don't know, I don't like this, I don't want to look like this, keep writing it. And keep writing, because when you write down on paper or you type it, you actually program your mind to visually look at the goal. And it's different when you write it down or type it versus just keep it in your head. It's kind of like, for example, you know, when you go in the mirror, I'm sure everybody does this, Helen does this, I do, everybody does this. Before you take a shower or after you take a shower, you ever just take a second to look at yourself? Some people are like, Alan, you're kind of crazy, but that's common. People do it. They do it, especially if you're a competitor, especially if you're making a transformation in your body. If you're not doing it, trust me, you will. You will, and you will love it. Because when you're making that change, who can be more proud of you than you, right? When you see yourself in the mirror, notice, have you ever noticed that when you visually look at yourself, it's very different, or there's parts of you that you don't always quite see. Don't always quite see it until you take a photo of yourself, and then you look at that photo, and you look at it and you go, whoa, wait a minute. Why didn't I see that in the photo when I was just looking at myself in the mirror? Have you ever had that before? We all have. And if you haven't had that experience yet, I encourage you to give yourself that opportunity and just go do it. Give it a shot. Because you're going to notice that what you see is very different from what you see on the camera. Well, guess what? Goals are the exact same thing. What you see written down is very different from what you see in your head. And you might not notice the difference right away, but you will notice it as the moments go by, the days go by, as you start to go after the thing that you want, the fitness result that you want. And as the days go by, you will notice, okay, is it positive or is it negative? And is it strong enough for me or is it not? Which brings me to the last section. Whether it's positive or negative. If it's a negative, you got to move it to a positive because you're going to need both. It's not enough to empty the cup. I don't want this anymore. It's not enough. Once you've turned that cup over, you got to tell yourself, what do you want to fill it with? That's what the positive is. So you need to write down both. And then after you've written down whatever that statement is, I want to look good in my dress. I want to look like Helen. I want to look 20 years younger, whatever that is. All you got to do is ask yourself this question. Is it that important to me? Is it that important to me? Now, remember, if you're working with a coach, if you're working with Helen or me, you wouldn't have to do this. We would be in front of you. We'd be in your face, like somebody who really cares about you, and we'd be asking you this question. But if you don't have us, or you don't have a trainer, or you don't have somebody to ask you, now's your chance to ask yourself, is it important to me? And your brain will tell you one or the other. Yes, no, maybe, kind of, yeah, well, it'll give you an answer of some kind. So what am I looking for, Alan? You're looking for the answer that makes you say what Helen said back in February 2019, where she has never looked back ever since. And that is the gift you get to give yourself as well, which is when your brain goes 100% yes. Your brain must yell to you, yes, this is absolutely important, 100%. There's nothing that can get in my way. I must have this goal. That is a self-discovery, my friend. What I've actually walked you through, in conclusion, and wrapping up my part of the talk, is I'm giving you a chance to create a level of self-discovery in yourself that maybe, just maybe, I don't know, maybe no one's ever taken the time to really walk you through and help you understand what it is and how vitally important this is to you. Not just to you now, not just to your fitness now, but for the rest of your life, for all the years that you have remaining. Look, with all the technology that's happening now, with all the nutrition and supplements and all the good stuff that's coming to help us live longer, we humans are living longer. End of story. Which I hope, knock on wood, relates to all of you here, unless there's like an illness that's happening somewhere, some way, somehow. I'm assuming everyone here is healthy, and I'm assuming that you're going to live here a very long time. Whether it's the next 20, 30 years or the next 50 plus years, those are long years. You got to ask yourself, how do you want to live? Do you want to live in a place where you're like, I'm mediocre, I'm okay, my body's all right, I'm good enough, I'm getting by? Or do you want to live the way this young lady over here lives? She sits down here and just watches me finish off my talk. She's waking up, she's like, I'm determined, I'm going to do something. Oh, I'm having an off day, screw it, I got to find a way to make this a good day. Energy that comes out of her at 55 years old. And I say this with respect, I'm not trying to be rude, okay? So if you feel this, I don't mean this towards you, but I've seen this, I've lived this. Her energy level at 55 dwarfs some people I've met in their 30s. Some people I've met in their 30s, and I hate to say it because they're kind of young, but even some people in their 20s. Some people in their 20s I've met are like, oh, it's so hard to get out of bed. Oh, I gotta go to work today. Oh, it's too hot. Oh, it's too cold. It's like everything is working against them. And then you look at someone like Helen, who's 55. When she wants to go, when it's go time, it's go time. When she has to work, this woman can work till 12, 1 in the morning and still get up at 6, 7 a.m. to tackle her responsibilities for the next day. I know because we work together, and she messages me sometimes at 12:30 and like, hey, what about this? What do we have to do this? We got to take it. I'm like, what are you doing? Go to bed already. It's 12:30. I need you to wake up tomorrow. And she's up. When she's got to show up, she shows up. Do you know how much energy that takes in order to operate that way? That's the kind of energy that we're talking about for you. That's the kind of results that we want to see you have. And with that, not only with that energy and the results, but we want you to have the physicality, the physique, the image that represents that kind of high level energy output. You can have that as long as you take care of the number one thing that is going to be the defining factor as to whether or not you get it or you kind of get it. Look, I've been talking now. I was supposed to cut this off 10 minutes ago. If you're still listening to me, you're a determined individual. You're a person who wants to get it. You're a person who's here to soak this all in. So I want to make sure I deliver for you. You want that kind of result? Get this right. Not that it's wrong, but it may not be at the level that you need it to be because your goal is probably pretty darn high. And if this is something you're chasing after that you've never chased before, I'm telling you, you're going to have challenges. You're going to have struggles. It's not always going to be easy. You're going to have great and amazing days. But those days are going to be great and amazing because you had struggles and challenges that maybe before would have set you back, maybe. That you know other people complain about that definitely set them back. But you are not going to be that person to go, okay, I settle. No more. You're going to be that kind of person that says, hey, this is flipping hard, but it's harder for me if I give up on my real goal. on who I really want to become, on why I really want this amazing Helen Fong type physique, which we know you're capable of attaining to, because that woman had no belief that she could do it in 2018 until 2019 when we found her driver. And the moment we found her driver, everything was an uphill battle. It was uphill, it wasn't downhill. You know what I mean by uphill battle? It was hard, it was challenging. There's so many times she could have said no. A couple of times she said, I want to quit. Almost several times she almost did quit, but did she? No. I'm talking real fast here, I know, because I'm excited. And I'm excited because not only of her amazing accomplishments and abilities, and I keep pointing this way because Helen's over here just watching me, but because me and her both get excited when we know how far you're going to take this. And you're going to take this far once you get this right. And you're getting this right now. Write down your driver. Write down if it's positive or negative. Positive or negative. And if it's negative, make it a positive. Say what is it that you do want if you're talking about what you don't want. Once you've written that down, ask yourself, is this a must for me? Is this a strong enough reason for me? Your brain will say yes or no. If it's a no, a maybe, okay, write down another one. It could be a deeper meaning from the original, but write another one. Is it strong enough for me? Write another one. Is that strong enough for me? Write another one. Okay, this is getting a little stronger. Write another, write another, write another. I promise, if you keep writing, you will have a moment where your brain goes, oh my goodness, this is why I want it. This is why. And trust me, you might even get a little emotional about it. You get emotional, you will go to bed tonight a totally different person. You will wake up tomorrow morning with more drive, more determination, more clarity than maybe you've ever had before in your life regarding this field of physical transformation. Trust me, we live this every day. We don't want to just leave today's talk with just some like nice, like what you might get somewhere else. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying that's usually what we get on the internet, right? Take this many grams, let's take this one, take your carbohydrate. Those are important. Helen talked about it. They're important. We can't dismiss them. But those won't work without this. And you are getting this right starting today. Miss Helen, come on back here, please. Take it away, Miss Helen Fong. Be amazing, Miss Helen.
Thank you so much, Coach Helen. That was amazing. Sending out mind first because all body like a robot.
It's like what you said. You talked about that before. Yeah.
When we to our mind, our body, basically find your driver, find the city. So important to have this beautiful, powerful vehicle.
Absolutely.
And once you decide, your mind, your body automatically go after that thing.
100%.
That's very important. Yeah, the how resources are already out there. What I give you is something that just to save you time right now, right? Because,
A very important
yeah,
aspect too.
yeah,
No, absolutely.
yeah. Once you know, you'll figure it out yourself. You will go after that. I mean that you probably already have because that's why you're here. That's why you're here. You're already making the first step. So, Coach Ellen just wanted to make that process a little bit even faster for you.
With
Thank
that
you
don't
again.
give up attitude, right?
Yes, why is because along the journey, you will experience obstacles, like we always do. And those obstacles actually will make you become stronger. Imagine the whole path is so easy. You won't learn anything. You only learn when something is difficult.
Right.
You're using your mind. Use your mind, right? What happened like a vehicle, right? You don't drive it. Exactly. Have you ever experienced leaving your car in your garage for weeks, maybe while you go for a holiday, and you come back, the car doesn't work. You have to try it often to keep it running. So your mind is like that. So you want something that's more challenging. All right. So having obstacle is a good thing. See it as an opportunity to learn. Like Tony Robbins always said, it's something easy, you won't go because like those 9 to 5 jobs, doing the same thing over and over again, that kind of boring.
Pays the bills, but
Yeah.
it doesn't always make us grow.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so thank you again.
Thank
Helen,
you.
And we will see you tomorrow on the best supplements that we're going to share with you that you can use to make the process even faster and actually more enjoyable.
100% more enjoyable. We love our workouts thanks to our supplements, and we believe you will too.
Thank you. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you all tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Take care. Thanks for being here.